Hey there! Did you know we have a Patreon? You can get early access to all of our content with any amount pledge. Consider it and spread the word. Now on to the show. Spoiler warning. This podcast will spoil elements from both the gameplay and story for Metal Gear Solid 3. Hello, guys. Welcome to Why We Love, the podcast where we talk about a certain game or franchise and say basically what we love about it. We fanboy out for it or fangirl out for the game. I am Gary Casillas. I'm basically just a very big fan of the game. I believe that this is my favorite Metal Gear Solid game in the franchise. With me, I have three guests: Cristian, Sanchez, Jorge Cotto, and Roberto Feliú, who are all also big fans of the game. And yeah, say hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm introducing you guys, and you're silent.
Oh yeah. No, sorry about that. Wait, I didn't want to interrupt you, man. Like you were on a roll right there. So I don't want to like break your mojo.
I was expecting like a high or something. I was like, so I guess I'll keep talking till I hear it.
Thank you for having us again. Like we did the last podcast together, like me, Cristian, and you, and now we have like another cool dude that loves the game, and that it's gonna be an interesting conversation. So thank you for having us again.
Yeah, definitely. So anyway, let's talk about it. Let's talk about Metal Gear Solid 3. So as I said, it's my favorite of the franchise. Is that true for you guys too?
You're not wrong.
Your favorite?
Metal Gear Solid 3 is not
Very
just
awesome.
your favorite game in the franchise. It is the best game in the franchise. If you disagree with me, fight me. No, for real. So like Metal Gear Solid 3 was like, in my opinion, the best game of all the Metal Gear Solids. It is quite frankly the one that I have played the most. I played Metal Gear Solid 3 when it came out. I gave them my money again when Substances came out, and I bought the HD remake. So I basically bought the game 3 times. That's how much I like this game, and it's quite frankly like I think one of the games that I've played the most on PlayStation 2 when it came out. Like that's how much I like this game.
Yeah.
I think it's the best made Metal Gear Solid game. But I think for me in terms of favorite or things that like gave me more emotion or enjoyed it more in terms of the whole package, I think 4 beats it. But I think that 3 is the best, the best version of Metal Gear Solid in terms of a story, gameplay, and the entire package.
Yeah.
Right. What I have to say about Metal Gear Solid 3 is that it's very awesome. It's definitely in my top two. My top two Metal Gears are Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3.
Oh,
And
okay.
I know a lot of people give Metal Gear Solid 2 a lot of hate, but to me, it holds a very special place in my heart because it was the first mature game I played.
Okay.
So it was like
Okay.
a stepping stone into a whole new world. It was
Yeah,
it was awesome
you
in
never forget
itself.
you never forget your first time. So I can understand
Yeah,
why you're
yeah,
why you're
it
saying
popped-
number 2 is
Popped
your
my
favorite.
cherry there.
Yeah.
Okay,
I was
okay,
going for metaphors, but okay.
Yeah. So moving on from that, no, actually, I actually believe that if we're gonna get any like crap from people in the comments, it's gonna be that we didn't even mention like the first Metal Gear Solid as our favorite, because I know that a lot of people
Well,
believe that that's actually like the best one.
At the
Okay,
time, it
and
was awesome. At the time, it was awesome when it launched, and it was, one of the best games ever
Yeah.
made in that era. But
it,
I mean, the formula got better, and
Yeah,
it
that's
got
what I think
better.
too. Yeah, like I admire what that game did, like the first one, but I just feel like three made all of that and just made it better in many ways. Like I also like two, but I have my issues with two in many
oh yeah,
aspects. But it was also it's actually like the first one I played. Also, I actually played the first Metal Gear Solid last. Like I played four before I played
yeah, me
one.
too.
That's
Well, I
weird
played
because
3.
Yeah.
a lot of people gave two hate just because of the switch
Yeah.
oh
between
yeah,
Because
the
of
Snake and
Raiden.
Raiden.
because of Raiden, yeah, the little switcheroo they pulled there. So I played them in order. Like I the first one that I
Yeah.
played was number 3. Then I played 1, 2, and then 4. And honestly, like I can't give you a good argument about Metal Gear Solid 1 because Christian, you actually lent me the game, and when I was playing it, uh, at that point in my life, I didn't have that much of patience. So I got up to Sniper Wolf, and then when like I had like the conversations like, well, where do I get the sniper rifle? And then you had to like literally backtrack the entirety of the base. I went like, you know what? No, I'm out. So Christian, thank you for the game. Have it back. I'm not backtracking. I can live without it. And I've kind of been like, I'm kind of still angry with like 12-year-old Jorge. Like, dude,
Yeah,
it was
you
just half
missed
an
out,
hour of
bro.
your life. You should have just backtracked. And ever since then, I've been like, please make an HD remake of number 1, where whatever Hideo Kojima, please, just like remake it, relaunch it for the PS3 or for the PS4. Like what? I just want to play the game with like modern day graphics. That's all I want.
They
Well, that
should
would be awesome.
they should
That would
HD
really be
remake
awesome.
the one from the GameCube just because.
Oh, Twin Snakes.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Twin Snakes. Again, like I didn't own like Nintendo consoles. I just had like the handheld, so I didn't get to play it. I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate up for people because I didn't have a GameCube. I didn't like grow up playing Super Smash or
Oh, I
anything like
didn't.
that. But
I'm the same as you. I didn't have the only Nintendo console I had is Super Nintendo. That's it.
yeah,
Yeah, same here.
so yeah, but that's gonna be like a different podcast. So let's keep with
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I don't know. It's to me, Metal Gear Solid 3 was like this magical game because I didn't get to play any Metal Gear Solids until 3 came out.
Yeah.
But I've always kind of heard like fairy tales about like Metal Gear Solid. Like it's one of the best games ever. It's one of like it's stealth. It's complicated. It's this. It's that. And then like I kind of like built it up in my head. I was thinking like man, I'm never gonna beat a game of Metal Gear Solid caliber.
Yeah.
And then I started playing this game, and I fell in love with it. Like again, like I've replayed this game maybe, and I'm not kidding you, 5, 6, maybe 7 times. Um, but it because it gives you like so many like different options. Like you can play it completely stealth mode, like not killing anyone. You can go full Rambo on it. You can do like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You can play with just like with one single gun and that's it. You're not gonna use any other guns, and like that's kind of like what I loved about this game. Like I remember like when that game came out. I mean, Chris and Gabriel, you guys know me. I'm one of the most peace and love dudes that you will ever meet. Like I don't have a violent bone in my body, but I will admit I went full on psycho with this game. Like I would torture like the NPCs. Like for example, like one of the things that I like to do is when you have like a row of locker rooms, I would knock unconscious maybe 5, 6 soldiers, stuff them in their lockers, and then put claymores in front of the doors. And I just went full on Saw on that game. I went like, okay, whoever wakes up first is gonna kill the rest of the guys. Because as soon as you step out of the locker room, you're gonna trigger the claymore, and that's gonna be like a chain reaction. And you're gonna kill everyone. And that's kind of the weird, psychotic, sadistic stuff that I did on that game. Please don't judge me. I'm sure to God I'm not evil. But that's kind of what I like about the game, that it gave me the option of doing that. You know?
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I wanted to say about that, like I agree with that wholeheartedly. Like so in my experience, like I played 2 first, right? And I know that I really like 3 for the fact that I like 2. Like at that point, it was the only Metal Gear I have played, and to me it was like such a different type of game that was like I had played before. So it was such a unique experience. And then I played 3, and then I kind of like I just love 3 so much more than 2. That like when sometimes you play like the first game of a franchise, and that becomes the one that you really love, right? Because of all the nostalgia that's kind of associated with it. The nostalgia didn't help at all to me. Like to me, 3 was just so much more interesting, and something that I remember about it, and I don't know, because I know the franchise has evolved, right? But I know that from the first Metal Gear Solid and the second Metal Gear Solid, the thing that you said, right, about the guards and the claymores and all the stuff, like you could always kind of do that, right? Like you had that freedom to kind of sneak around and solve the puzzles, I guess you could say, in many different ways. But for some reason, I don't know if I'm kind of going like I'm just saying something that's not true, but Metal Gear Solid 3 just felt more like there was like just more of that freedom. Like it felt like just the idea of having to kind of hunt the animals around and having to eat those animals and knowing which were poisonous, which weren't. Keep in mind that they get rotten. The fact that you could kind of threaten the guards for a code, and then kind of like order a bomb strike where you were, and to help you do stuff. And I don't know, and there are also aspects of that freedom in just even the story itself. I mean, there are 2 instances that I will always kind of I didn't do one of them, but I know it could happen, and just the idea that that's an option is amazing. The first one is when you defeat Ocelot in the first fight, and you could just kill him if you want to, right? So I did.
Oh yeah, like a time paradox came out.
Yeah, and I did.
Instead of game over, it just says time paradox. And again, like I haven't played like the other games at that point, so like I'm like, why? Wait, time paradox? What?
Yeah, like for example, the reason why I really like enjoy that was because I think one of the most interesting aspects for a game to be a good game is when the game goes like, yeah, you can do it. Like when there are like not that many bounding boxes or that many things that don't make sense. Like you can shoot everybody else, but you can't choose this person because story reasons, right? Like when the game just goes, sure, like you can do whatever you want. You're kind of destroying the whole series by doing this, but suit yourself, right? And I really like the idea that they went that extra mile to like they didn't have to do that. They could have just made Ocelot not collision based, and you couldn't just destroy him if you didn't want to. But they did, right? And the other instance of that was when you meet the end.
Sorrow? So the end. Okay, yeah.
I mean, the end is the sniper, right?
Yeah, the end is the sniper.
So, like, the first time you meet the end, and I never did this. Like to me, I was watching a cutscene. The cutscene ended, and I just went my way, and eventually, I fought the end right in the sniper battle that I'm gonna talk about extensively because it's my favorite battle in any game ever.
Dude, agreed.
But before we talk about it,
Agreed.
because we're gonna stay in that topic for a while, at least for me, right? Again, you can kill the end in that moment, and if you kill him,
Oh,
he's dead.
You're talking about when like Snake is walking through like a mangrove area,
Yeah, and they
then
like
there's a cutscene,
introduce
and
like
as soon as when the boss introduces like the fear and the end, and
Yeah.
then the fear just runs away, and you can shoot the end there if you want.
yeah, I
And if
didn't
you
know
do
that.
I didn't know it either. But if you do that, like instead of having the end boss battle, it's gonna be like it's gonna be like a swarm of NPCs with like rifles and stuff like that you gotta clear out. But
Yeah.
yeah, like that. I remember that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like
I didn't do it.
I
I did it the second time, not the first time. I didn't know that.
yeah, like the first time, like I knew that when I like started reading about it, and I was like, what? like you can do that? And it's just so amazing the fact that they're not treating you as. And again, okay, so it's not like every single part of the game is free. Of course, like there are so many like points
No,
that you have to follow the story, of course, and you have to do certain things. But like those things that you can do, like they, like you're supposed to be this agent, right? The spy agent that has to defeat this organization or kill them, right? That's the point in the end. And the fact that they give you the power to do that, and they treat you as, yes, you are an agent, you have the opportunity, you have the shot, take it, and you can. It's those things that make me feel like this game is way more free than the other like the other like 2 and 1. I know 4 kind of took that to the next level because you can do a lot of shit in that game. That
5. I think 5.
yeah, I mean yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But eventually, like my point is that when I like going from 2 to 3, I kind of like felt that difference, and it made me just love the game that much more because I just felt like I could just do anything. like the world, I could just interact with it in any way I wanted. And
It's like Kojima told you, like, hey, this is the game. You don't have to play like how I want you to play it. You can play it however you want to play it.
yeah, and I think that's why I really love this version because, of course, the other versions kind of expanded upon that, but I still feel like that's what makes Metal Gear Solid 3 that. And again, I'm not talking story yet because I really love the story of Metal Gear Solid 3, but like just mechanics wise, that's what made this game that much more interesting or that much more memorable in my mind.
I mean, with regards to the end, they even go a lot further than that. If you start the fight and you save and you wait for a week and you don't fight him, and when you come back, he's dead because you waited a week.
Oh yeah,
and he died.
He dies of old age. Like you can even trick it. You don't even have to wait a week. You can just go to your like PlayStation settings and like fast forward the clock.
Okay, so like if we're talking about the end, let's talk about the fight. Like I wanted to talk about it eventually, but you're just tempting me at this point. So the fight. Okay, so again, as I said,
it's one of my favorite fights in any game ever.
It's my favorite
fight
fight ever. Like I think that game, I mean that fight, made me understand what games could do way more than any other game has ever done. Like for example, Final Fantasy VII, which is my favorite game, made me realize how you could tell a really interesting story. Of course, not necessarily the best story, but just a really interesting story in a game and be engaging, and I really love the characters. I think that Metal Gear Solid 3 basically teach me how to do that thing with the mechanics and make a battle almost as epic as the story. And like I've never felt that before in a game. Like I've and again, it's not like I've played every game. Of course, there are probably other games that have done it before, but for me, this was it. Like when I played this battle, I remember that it felt like a sniper battle. Like I understood the idea of I have to be careful because he can see me here, he can see me here. There's so many ways I could defeat him. There's so many things I could do.
Mhm.
But what sealed it for me, and I think of course it's kind of a four. No, actually it isn't. So what you said, Roberto, right, about the like saving.
Yeah.
So okay, so I didn't do that. I didn't know that you could do that. But what I did was I got to the point. I was getting to the fight and I had to leave, right? And I saved. I went like, okay, so when I
Yeah.
come back, I'll just keep going with the fight. I
Yeah.
load up the game. I look for him. I don't see him anywhere. And then I hear the words. I don't know exactly what he says, but he's like, "Stop right there." And then he basically. The idea is that when I save, I basically stayed there like motionless or something. And he used
Yeah.
that to go around me, go behind me, and basically shoot me, right? Like win the battle because you're not supposed to do that in the middle of a fight, and in the
Mhm.
middle of that fight. And when that happened, I remember that I was like, "Oh damn!" like everything I do has a consequence in this fight, and this I should take everything about this seriously. And I don't know, like that broke, like that was a mind blown moment for me. I was like, because it made sense. I understood what the
Yeah.
concept was. I understood
It
that
broke
this guy
the
is
fourth wall
the
in the best way
shit. Like
possible.
this, like I understand why he's called the end. Like you can't take him lightly. Like it just made that character seem that much more intimidating, and just I will always remember that fight. I will always remember that character. I have all the respect for that character, like almost like if he was a living person. like
Yeah.
he just felt real, like what he did and how he behaved. And yeah, like I don't even remember how I beat him in the end. I think that there was I used I kind of basically like used the easiest way. I think it was like with the heat stuff or something, like knowing where he was kind of going. And
Oh, the hit vision goggles.
yeah, I don't remember exactly how I
Okay.
beat him. I just remember like just the fight taking a long time for me. And
Mhm.
when I beat
Yeah, for me too.
when I finally like won, it just felt so earned. I don't know, like
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that fight, man. Like it's my favorite
Like
fight ever. Yeah.
like now that you bring that up, like that's another thing that I loved about the game, that it's how you have so many ways to like win that fight, and you get so many goodies on depending on what you choose for. Because like example, like if you beat the end by just like any of the bosses, if you drain them by beating their stamina instead of their health points, they give you either camouflage, or in the end's case, it gives you like his sniper rifle, which is like a dart gun.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then if you want his camouflage, you gotta like stick him up. Like you gotta like
Right.
go behind
And
him, and then
stuff.
like sequester him, and do it like 3 times in a row for him to like give you his his camouflage. You can even kill his bird if you want. That is
Yeah.
that is a
Yeah.
level of detail that is like ridiculous.
Yeah.
And like the first time that I fought him, like it to me that was like the most holy crap moment, because um I beat him by pure coincidence. And by that I mean that, like, so this fight has been going on for maybe, again, like you're like a 12-year-old kid, like you don't know how to like fight tactically at that point, like at least I didn't. So I like that fight to me lasted like maybe 2-3 hours, and I'm like, how the hell am I gonna kill this dude? And then like I find like this sniping spot. I'm laying there. I'm cozy. I'm like, okay, where the hell is he? Where the hell is he? I can hear his freaking bird. Where is he? So I put in the thermal goggles, turn to my left, and son of a gun, that dude is standing right next to me. Like, not he doesn't even know that I'm there. He's like, he did the exact same thing that I was doing. He just like camped there, hoping that I would cross his path. And when I saw him there, I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna kill you so bad now. So I had no mercy. Like, I took my sniper rifle. I'm point blank range. Like, I don't need a sniper rifle. I can do it with like but no, I was like, oh, you bastard, I'm getting you now. So I'm point blank to him. I take my sniper. I even used the zoom. I don't have to use the zoom, but I went like, nope, zoom in, headshot, and that's how I killed the end the first time. And to me, like that to me that was like the most like dude, you have frustrated me so much. Like, it was the most cathartic like win ever. And like, after that I beat him like in several different fashions.
Yeah.
Because again, like, I played the game like maybe 7 times,
No,
which may be
like the first
excessive,
time,
but it's a good game.
Like the first time has that magic, right? Like you don't know
Yes.
what you're expecting. Like of course, like if you play it again, you know exactly what's gonna happen, and what to not do maybe. But again, we always remember that first time I fought the end, and just understanding that when they told you don't take him lightly, it was for a reason, and it felt that way, And I think that's what it was, just so rewarding that the game made it so like you understood that in this world this is what happens, and this guy is amazing. And yeah, like to me that was like, again, I don't experience that in games a lot, even nowadays. Like when that happens, like I understand that this is a good game, right? Like I'm looking for that. But yeah, like
So,
it just had that much of an impact on me, honestly.
Yep. I remember it probably took me a few hours to beat the end. It was a crazy fight. And I remember that you could be like looking for him with the goggles or the thermal goggles in first person, and then if you took too long, then he would sneak up behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Again,
Yeah,
it's
like,
just he felt amazing. I don't know.
And like, it's amazing how they did it. Like, they took this really old 100-year-old dude on a wheelchair,
Yeah.
and they made him the most frustrating fight in the entire game.
He's basically
So that's
experienced,
kinda like
man.
what I
Like
liked about it.
he's like a man that represents experience, basically, right?
Yeah.
So
Something like that, yeah.
I mean, was he like 100 years old or something?
Yeah, like something like that.
Yeah,
Something
I mean,
like
it's
that.
ridiculous, of course, but I mean, in this world of Metal Gear Solid, like it's just run of the mill, honestly. So yeah, like again, that's something that will stay with me forever. What's something that Roberto, like for you, like something that you will always remember about the game?
Honestly, it's more coming from 1 and 2.
Yeah.
The first two, the story kind of, especially in 2, kind of went a little bit complex at some point.
Yeah.
So on 3, it was actually refreshing that the story was simple. It was a very
Yes.
simple story. It was set on an historical time, so it wasn't far in the future. It was actually with the historical context, and even though it was fan fiction, I mean,
It was. Yeah.
yeah. So you could still feel the historical story around it,
Yeah.
and you could feel you knew. I mean, I was following the development of the game beforehand, so I kind of knew that it was Big Boss. But it kind of gave another turn when you knew it was Big Boss and you knew it was gonna become Big Boss. So,
Yeah.
but you didn't know his story, why it was the way it was, and so I think the story in itself is at least for me, it was the highlight of the game. How the story was presented.
Yeah.
how simple it was, but it was yet effective on how it told the story.
Yeah. Like to me, what the reason why I really love the story, apart from certain moments of the story that I'll probably mention eventually, is the fact that I understand, like I understood why he became Big Boss, and I think that the fact that the story made me understand him and say, honestly, I don't know if I would have done something different. Like maybe I would have done the same thing. Like I think that that's what made the story perfect for me. Like I will always remember. I think that I'm kind of maybe bringing this up too early, but that end fight, like when you fight the boss,
Yeah.
the fight itself was awesome. Like I really really enjoyed it. But I will always remember the last. I mean, it's not the last thing, but like the last, like when you defeat her and
Yeah, when you as a player and as Big Boss, you do the deed of killing
yeah,
her.
the first time.
Oh my god!
Honestly,
Mhm.
I
And it-
stayed in that. Like I thought I was watching a cutscene. I didn't
Yeah, me too. I took a
know
while.
that I had to
Yeah,
kill her because
it
I
won't
didn't
let you
want to. Yeah, like
it won't let you progress until you shoot her, and that's
like I literally
that
probably
is
stayed there minutes or like just several minutes before I realized, oh, so I have, like, is it waiting for me to do? No, I don't want to. Like I don't want to kill the boss. Like she's amazing. Like and I understand what she was doing. I understand that she was betrayed. I understand like this is this is not fair. Like again, that's kind of, and the fact that you have to do it because it's your job. Like that's what you have to do, and that's what she also says, like you have to do this.
Yeah.
Again, I
Yeah, it should tell you at the start that you're a soldier and the mission is all that's important,
exactly.
and you know, yeah, pretty much.
And again, I hadn't played like the first Metal Gears, so I didn't understand how important Big Boss was to the whole thing. Because even in the in Metal Gear Solid 2, like he plays a part, but he's not. I mean, he doesn't really play a part. He's not necessarily in there.
You just
Um,
know that they're clones of him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Like I
it's like
never
he's a
really
clone.
understood his importance, but when I played Metal Gear Solid 3, and I understood that this was like his origin story, and when that happened, again, it's just the fact that I understood him. I got why he did it. I got why he became what he became and what he represented, right? And that's what makes a good story. That's what defines a good story to me. Like when you can even empathize with what essentially is kind of the bad guy. I mean, you could make arguments, right, of who actually is the bad guy of the series, but essentially, like for Solid Snake, Big Boss is the bad guy for a long while, right? And
Yeah. Even beforehand, even on the 16-bit era games,
yeah,
Big Boss is the one that you are focused on. Like it's presented you as the bad guy, as the one who is controlling everything.
yeah,
But then you get to Metal Gear Solid 3, and you go to his story and understand that it's not necessarily him.
yeah,
It's the circumstances that led to what he did and everything around that.
yeah, and just the unfairness of being a soldier. I completely understood like the whole his whole thing, right? Like the idea of him trying to create like a land for soldiers to live in and to be free, and again, it's like, again, I just really understood him at that point, and just that fact of just having to shoot, because if it was a cutscene, it would have been fine, but the fact that you had to do it just
Yeah.
made it that much more. I don't know, like
it made it harder.
yeah, like it hurt. like when I did it, it was like that felt bad. Like I didn't want to do it, right?
So like one of the
Mhm.
things that I've heard about Hideo Kojima is that he believes that video games are like the next level of storytelling. Like it's basically letting you take a part in a movie or in like a anime or in like a series or anything like that. And I think like that was the moment that best like emphasized that statement. because it's like you said, like you're watching a cutscene, you're getting all the feels because you realize that the boss she isn't really the bad guy in this story. She's actually doing what she had to do. She like that. This was all a mission. If it wasn't for the fact that Volgin was like a trigger happy psychopath and blew up like that facility with a nuke, none of the story would have happened. Like none of it would have happened.
Yeah.
And the fact that she had to like keep playing a role and then sacrifice herself for country, for everything.
Yeah, take the blame.
And take the blame. And then you get that, and it's like, oh wow, man, you are. Talk about like empowering women in every sense of the
badass,
word, like in video game, in movies. It's like the boss is one of like the best characters ever. And then by the fact that by the end you're like, oh wow, like Jesus Christ, woman, you are amazing. You did all that, and then you have to kill her. And it's not even like you said, like it's not a cutscene. It's like no, you have to pull the trigger. It will not let you progress. It will not let you do anything else. Like it took all the mechanics away from you. Like you can't switch guns, you can't move. You have to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And my God, like one shot. That's all it took. One shot, and man, like it hits you hard.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it like keeps twisting the knife in your heart because then by the end of it. You go to like your ceremony where like they give you the Congressional Medal of Honor or whatever, and then you go to her grave and you salute her. And like another thing is one of the things that I loved about this game is the fact that you press R1, like you can go like in first person view and like cutscene. And if you do that in that scene, everything looks watery because you're crying. And
I didn't know that actually.
Yeah. It's actually they don't tell you. They don't tell you. It's like hidden. Like
that one doesn't have. But you're so used to like hitting R1 in cutscenes that like you do it just in case, and that's what I love about this game is the replayability of the game because it gives you like so much goodies. Like if you don't want to see a cutscene in first person, play it again. If you want to see it in first person, play it again. You know. And the fact that it even like I forgot that it didn't it didn't show you that you can hit R1, but you know like you go like what if I do it, and then you do it, and then everything is like all watery because you're crying.
Yeah.
Like dude, like through this entire game, Naked Snake has become like one of the biggest badasses in badass history. It's right up there with the Undertaker in terms of badassery, and he's crying.
I mean, that makes him more badass to me.
Exactly. It's the most manliest tear that could have been shed ever.
I mean, it's just you understand him. Like who wouldn't cry at that point? Yeah, like
he's in pain and in anger.
Yeah, I feel it's that thing. Like I felt like him. Like I felt the whole thing. Like I wanted to. Again, I wanted to be a big boss at that point. Like I was like, yes, let's fuck everything. let's make let's just make everything.
And even then, he understands later that he needs to play a certain part to do what he needs to do. So he becomes kind of what the boss was doing in later games, following her example.
Yeah,
of what was trying to do.
Yeah, but at that point, you know he's like, I'm gonna basically make like everything will change. Like I will make sure that everything changes, and I don't know. It just I don't know. It's perfect for me.
At least for me, I didn't expect the ending. After that the thing with Eva and Adam.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't expect it. It was like, oh, what? Wait, really? Like, damn.
Yeah, like Snake never catches a break.
Wait, like, what you're talking about then? You mean like that Eva was like a triple agent working for the Chinese?
Yeah.
Because like the first time that I played it, like her name is Eva, but like okay, so when you start playing the game, yeah, the when you start playing the game, they tell you that you got like two agents. One's codename is Adam, the other one is Eva. But like the first time I played it, I'm like, okay, that's Eva because that's what she says her name is. But like on a second playthrough, like you remember the first time you encounter her, you ask her who the page, you ask her the code word,
Yeah.
and she doesn't know it. And that's one of the things that like it kind of took me like a while to guess that, and that they're literally telling you she is not Eva because she didn't know the code word, so she is playing you like all the entire game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
that's
like
what
that,
took me like for surprise. Like, so everything that was done here was all just a ruse just to get that. That
the
was
Philosopher's Legacy, yeah.
I mean
Yeah.
that's something that I think these games do well. Like there are so many agendas and groups doing things at the same time as you are, and like understanding what's going on is part of the like the fun part of it. I mean, it's frustrating too because sometimes it doesn't make any sense or it's kind of weird. But
Right, yeah.
like I
Nano machines.
Oh God, don't go there. Don't
I
go to
mean,
nano machines because I'm gonna
At
go
least
in
they
like
don't
a
wear
half
an any
hour.
in Metal Gear Solid 3, right?
Oh, thank God, no. Because
They
if
still
you
didn't
go
have
nano
the
machines,
technology.
I'm gonna go on a 40-minute rant on nano machines.
I mean, I don't know. Like Roberto, like I mean, they
Yeah.
kind of mention nanomachines in 3, right? Or no?
Do
they mentioned it in 1.
Yeah,
In
the first
3,
one,
they don't
but
even
not.
mention them. I think they kind of they imply that they're working on them. I don't know. Like I don't remember
They
well enough. Yeah.
they
I know that in 3, the Shagohod isn't a Metal Gear. First of all, because like the one that was working on the Metal Gear was I forgot his name. Is like the old dude that has like the brown shoes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Granin?
He's
Granin?
Granning, exactly. Granning was
Or
working on
something.
Metal Gear, and Sokolov was working on something different. And so
They were
technically, the Shagohod wasn't
the
a
Shadow
Metal
Hawk
Gear.
was just
So
a project that they were trying to do to just
yeah,
have a missile, like kind of just have a tank, make a tank and make a missile on top of it. And they said it was a
yeah,
Metal Gear, but it wasn't really. It's not a Metal Gear. No,
no,
Yeah.
the first official
no, yeah.
Metal Gear was much later.
But nano machines, I don't think they ever mentioned it. Thank God they didn't mention it in that game.
I mean, that kind of breaks everything eventually. Yeah. I mean, Ocelot for me is like the whole Adam thing. Like you said, right? It was really interesting, and it was, of course, at the point it was kind of interesting. But I have my problems with Ocelot as a character in the franchise, in the whole entire series. I like him, and then I don't like him sometimes.
Yeah,
He
As
always he always plays a different part every time. He's actually a true spy, if you know what I mean.
But he's kind of
Good
again,
point.
we could probably talk about Ocelot him just him for an entire podcast. So I'm not gonna really go there. But yeah, like something that again, just to kind of keep talking about things that I remember, right, or things that really had an impact on me. And I have to mention this because before the podcast ends, the Zorro, right? So
oh yeah,
the whole thing with him and the whole like sequence that happens with him, that took me so like it was so surprising and so out of the blue and so just weird that again this all is just another thing that I will always remember. And I know it's kind of like the idea is kind of comes from movies or something like to show you something that doesn't make any sense, but of course it's in your mind, right? And that's why he's a Zorro, right? Again, I will always remember the I don't remember what happens to lead you to that point, but I always remember getting to that point and seeing everybody I killed and the ways I
Oh,
killed
yeah.
them, and I'm
Yeah.
having to go through them to what I feel is the end of or the exit of that thing, but it seems like there's no end to it. Like that sequence to me is just so cinematic and just so, and again you're playing it, so you're actually doing it, so it just feels even more like realistic or real, I guess. I mean, not realistic, but real. You feel like you're experiencing it yourself, and just so creepy. Like it's just such a creepy thing. Like to show you your impact on the world and how like you're kind of a monster, honestly. like you kill all these people and you've done all this damage, and then getting to the end of that part and kind of reaching the sorrow and not being able to do anything to him, and the only way to get out is to commit suicide, basically. Damn, like,
So
can you talk about just a more powerful scene, a sequence of events? Like, I don't know, like it's amazing.
well, I mean, at least for me, I haven't played at that point any game that you would automatically die, like you couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So I did that part at least 10 times,
Yeah.
trying to figure out what the hell am
How
I
you
doing
win this.
wrong.
Yeah.
Yes, and trying, and I gave up. I was like, oh, all right, I just tried to find it on the internet. How the hell did beat this guy? And then it said, like, just reach for your menu. There's an item there for you to help you.
The cyanide.
Yeah, and the cyanide, and it's like, oh, I didn't know that I could actually reach the menu in that scene.
Yeah.
It's
Me
at
neither.
the end. It's like I thought it was the end. I thought it was failed, like mission failed and all that stuff. So it was like, okay, that was weird.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I made it, until I did a no-kill run, that I kind of understood what it was the scene about.
Okay. Yeah.
Because when you do a no-kill run, there's only like one or two. There's always a couple, because that the game just puts a couple of you in there just to have something to go through.
Again, like it was just so powerful to me because I feel like it kind of condensed the whole, like when you hear soldiers having PTSD and just all that stuff, like again the sorrow, right? And when you first hear that name, it's like, oh, that's a cool name, I guess. But damn, like you understand why he was the fear?
No, there was the names was fear and sorrow.
Yeah, exactly. But like the sorrow, like I never really understood what that meant at first. Like I was like, okay, so I guess there's a guy called Sorrow. I guess he's gonna be like black or something, like emo or whatever. But like when that scene happens and you understand that he's doing it, right? Like he's the one that's making you experience this. Again, it's just so powerful to me as a message of you. Again, this is what you have to remember. This is what you have to deal with. Like you did this, right? And this is the sorrow that each soldier has to deal with on a constant basis. And again, it's like more powerful to that, right? The fact that the only escape is suicide. It's just so powerful to me. Like of course it isn't, right? It's not the escape that you have to go for, but that's what the sorrow wants you to think, right? That I don't know. It's like never have I seen just like a playable sequence in a game that has so much to say about a certain topic, and just it makes you experience what that feels.
No, yeah, like it's one of the most. I don't know how to put that boss fight, because it wasn't really a fight. It's just
it wasn't. It was just a point. They were trying to make a point. And they
exactly.
did. Like,
it's like talk about war as hell, you know. Like,
exactly. Like yeah, definitely.
And like again, like I remember like traversing the entire river thing, the entire mangrove, and then reaching that last point. I'm going like, so do I have to swim under him? Do I have to like walk around him? And it's like Roberto said, like I must have done that entire thing probably 10 times, which talk about frustrating, because you don't. It's not like today's boss fights where like they autosave at a certain point, and if you die, then you only have to like play the last 5 minutes of the fight. Like, no, you have to like do the entire walk all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a
You
long
can't run.
Yeah.
You have to like it's draining. It's literally draining. And
Yeah.
but
yeah.
but to switch the topic about how bleak that scene was,
Yeah.
one of my favorite parts of the game, and it's the intro. It's the Snake Eater theme song.
I was gonna say that.
It's-
Yeah.
That to me was that song is amazing. I loved it, and it was just so James Bond. Like it just reminded me of all of the James Bond's intros. I don't know, like that song was just fantastic.
Yeah.
And like to like back me up, there's even a conversation in the codec about like how Major Zero loves James Bond, and he just goes on this like half-hour monologue about James Bond, and like that's one of the things that I like about this game, because it's like, if like I love James Bond. I think Austin Powers is better spy than James Bond, but that's just me. But this game is basically, if you took James Bond and you made him like even a bigger badass, you made him, instead of like just this MI6 agent, you made him a soldier too.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what I love about Metal Gear Solid 3, and like that song. It's, I don't know. So I just love it.
I mean, to
So
be
you
fair,
remember
Kojima is a
Yeah.
Bond fan.
Yeah.
Kojima is a Bond fan.
yeah.
He took that directly. Yeah, I remember that he was saying in an interview, he was like, since the topic is the time, the 1960s. So he
Yeah, from
thought
Russia with
that-
Love, you know.
Yeah, so he was trying to make something out of that era, and he loves early Bond movies.
Yeah, he loves a lot of like
Yeah.
classic Hollywood movies.
Films, yeah.
Yeah. What I was gonna say is that, to be fair, that song is ridiculous. But
What?
The stairwell was awesome.
no, I mean like
The Stairway was awesome.
no, like the whole. Okay,
The
so
animation
let
is
me
awesome.
It wasn't necessary.
let me
It
complete
wasn't-
my thought, right?
you know.
Like the song is ridiculous in what it says, right? Because what she's singing about doesn't make any sense sometimes. But
It's sort of about the game,
what
so
yeah, like what makes it amazing to me is the fact that even though it's a ridiculous song, the as you said, it has the Bond feeling like to 100. And it feels amazing to that sense. And the fact that she's so into it. When you hear that song again, that what makes that song, because if she was kind of winging it and it was like, it's for a game, whatever. But she's into it, man. She's singing about that guy eating snakes. And it's like she's singing about
eating a
the
frog.
best thing
I think
ever.
it says-
Yeah, like the best thing that she's ever sung about in her life. And I think that's what makes it so memorable to me, like the fact that this game understands what it's about, understands how ridiculous it can be sometimes, and it doesn't care.
But
It's like
it's part of being a Kojima game.
yeah,
A game that
exactly,
doesn't take itself too seriously.
exactly, yeah, and that's what's perfect about it to me, like the fact that like it doesn't try to make you feel like, oh yeah, so this is a really serious game. It's not. It's a game. It's fun, and the game is about a guy that has to eat snakes apparently in the jungle to survive. And
Gabriel, we're gonna have a very long conversation after this podcast is over.
sure.
No, but it's funny that you say that.
It's my favorite song,
because,
actually. Just to be clear, it's my favorite song of the series. But yeah.
You're not gonna get on my good graces now. But no, it's funny that you say that about like a game not taking itself seriously, because I think this was the most serious of all the Metal Gear Solid games. By that I mean, dude, like the boss fights, the enemies in like the first two games and are ridiculous. Like you have this woman that like deflects bullets because of like a magnetic energy. You got a fat bastard on roller skates planting bombs. You got a freaking vampire.
Yeah.
You got a
Midget.
vampire that doesn't die.
But I think that's more of a Metal Gear Solid 2 problem because at least on the first one there wasn't. I think that the only thing out there.
Raven and Psycho Mantis, dude. Raven literally, like, I think there was a point where he just like broke the tank apart and took the tank's gun and used that as a weapon. He was freakishly strong. He was Super Saiyan strong.
But I think
that's not normal.
But I think that the idea of a Metal Gear, I think it's more out there than.
Oh no, yeah, definitely. But again, like when you play this game, it's kind of grounded in reality.
Yeah.
And by that, like for example, like yes, okay, Volgin is the only one with superpowers technically because he shoots lightning.
Well, there's the Pain. The Pain
and
has the bees.
The Fear.
And
okay, dude, but there are bee whisperers out there, you know. And I'm not wearing a tinfoil hat here. Watch Animal Planet. There are dudes that actually like I don't know, like spray chemicals and through that control bees. The Fury is just a contortion artist, you know. Like yes, he climbs trees weirdly, but it's because he's double jointed. Like he separates his arms from his shoulders, and like that's how he climbs. The end. I am not buying the whole photosynthesis thing. Like that's something they said.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
I mean,
something they
you
said,
see it
but-
happen during the game, right? I think he recovers when he got out into the sun, right? Didn't he?
I don't remember.
I don't
that
remember
well, yeah.
that part. We gotta watch the game again. And the boss, aka the Joy, which that's her emotion in battle. Like she is the most normal. Like she's normal. She doesn't have any superpowers. She's just like a freaking badass. And literally, like the only thing that's kind of out there is the Sorrow, which is a ghost. So you only have like one lightning, like a lightning guy and a ghost, and even the Shagohod. It's in like a ridiculous idea. Like it looks like it could be in, like it could be a real tank.
I was thinking that it was like okay, well,
It's
so
the most
they
realistic-
accelerate the missile. And
It's the
So-
most realistic weapon of all the Metal Gears, if you could say that.
So anyway, like to me, even though like as you said, like this, it doesn't take itself seriously and whatnot. Like to me, this is what I loved about this game because it's kind of like the one that you go, okay, yes, there are some things that you really have to suspend your disbelief in order to like buy and remind yourself it's a game. It's not serious. It's very anime-ish, but
Yeah.
it's still kind of like out of all the Metal Gears, I think this is like the one that's most like grounded in reality, the most relatable in that sense. Like the one that you really, it doesn't take that much for you to like, okay, yeah, I can see this happening. Okay, no, like this is actually plausible. Like okay, I get it.
Understandable. So yeah.
His story is the serious part of the game.
Yeah.
The story, the actual story.
Yeah.
Where
Dude,
I
but
feel
this-
like in the case of Metal Gear Solid 2, the story was more on the wacky side, and then the actual gameplay was the actual serious part of the game.
Don't worry, Christian. You have your chance to talk about Metal Gear Solid 2 eventually.
well, maybe on
Yeah.
on another podcast.
No, yeah. we
Yeah,
just
anyway,
throwing shade
what-
at 2, like because not like 2.
Yeah. Yeah, anyways, what I'm trying to say is the song is so good that you don't only see it in the intro, you get it right after you fight the end. You have to climb a freaking 2-minute long ladder
Just so that
and you get the song a cappella with no music, and it's even better. So,
Sounds awesome. Yeah.
lawyered.
and it's exactly it's exactly the same. Just about it's about to end the song. That's where you got on top. It's like they put exactly the same exact amount of stair steps to go the entirety of the song.
Yeah. That's when you know they love what they're doing. Because
Pretty
that's
much.
not like you don't have to do that. You don't.
Let's measure how much time can we get from this point to this point. How many stairs do we need?
Yeah. I don't know. Like there are so many things that are missing about this game. Sadly, we're kind of reaching the end, or we're kind of at the end basically right now. But is there anything else in particular that you guys would like to mention before we kind of end the podcast?
I mean,
the game
I
itself.
can-
You all started talking at the same time.
Everybody just talk at the same time. Yeah.
So let's
Okay,
go
okay.
one by one. Jorge, is there something else that you feel like should be
I
mentioned?
mean, yeah. Like I'm making fun of the game a little bit more because we've basically been joking about Metal Gear Solid 2 and Chris. I'm sorry, I love you, buddy, but even this game makes fun of it because you get to dress up as Raiden, and Raiden is literally Volgin's boyfriend in the game.
Yeah.
So even in this game, they're making fun of itself.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I just needed to mention that Raiden is Volgin's gay lover.
And by the way, I actually, there are many things that I like about 2. It's just that again, I just really like 3. Like it's my favorite, so of course I will talk about it. Anyway, we'll talk about the other ones eventually, and maybe we're gonna be the same people talking about it probably. But like I have something that I love about each one of them, like for each one of them. But yeah, like 3 to me, like I mean, the podcast is about 3, so I just really, really love so many things about like what 3 did. Roberto, something else that you want to mention?
No, I think actually this game is underrated.
Yeah.
When it came out, a lot of reviews gave it in the 80s, around the 80s.
Oh,
and
wow.
I just
That's weird.
couldn't understand why, because it was a much better game that was out there at the time.
Yeah.
So I think that even though it's praised now a little bit more, I think it's one of those games that it's underrated because it's not modern, or it's on the jungle, and for some reason people are at jungle phobia or something like that. I don't know why, but yeah, I mean, it's like I said at the start, is the best made Metal Gear Solid game.
Yeah.
That in the entire series.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I agree. Christian, apart from all the criticism that we've thrown,
So I'm gonna ignore all the Metal Gear Solid 2 hate. And just say,
You're
I'm just
a bigger
gonna say
man than
that
we give you credit for.
I agree that this is the most solid game
Yeah.
in the series.
No pun intended.
I had to say it. So I just want to say, I very much enjoyed the game, just playing it.
Yeah.
We didn't talk much. Well, we talked about specifics in the gameplay, but just in general, being able to use camouflage
Oh,
in
right,
different
yeah.
areas, that's super awesome.
And the face
they
paint.
gave you a lot of the face paint, and they gave you many weapons to choose from, and it really changed. Like everybody was gonna have a different style in playing the game.
Yeah.
And I for example, I just loved using the handgun, just the regular handgun, and just getting headshots. So that was super satisfying to me. Just the headshots in this game, it was just like, it just felt awesome. Like just aiming it and just getting it right and getting a couple super fast and stuff like that. Like I would just play around with that.
Yeah.
Also, that this game, as people say, it was very replayable, and you could challenge yourself and do different things like sneaking only or trying not to kill anybody in the game and all that.
Yeah.
So I did that. And so I spent many hours because of that. And yeah, so we all love the game.
Yeah. I mean, I agree that it's a really fun game. Like it just feels fun to play.
getting the big boss badge was a pain, literally.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I probably didn't get it.
yeah. I'm not a trophy hunter, so like I didn't do that. But like it's like Christian said, like there's so many stuff like you can do in this. Dude, you could even like shoot the radios off of the soldiers and leave them alive so they can't
Yep.
like message for they can do a distress signal. Like,
Hey,
like
that wasn't two. That wasn't two.
okay, no, it's fine. We'll talk about it.
I
Again,
mean, most of
this
these
is
things,
the first
most of
game
these
that I
things are
played. Is what I'm
in
trying to
two
say.
or previous iterations. So to be fair,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, but oh damn! I think I lost my train of thought because of
Sorry
that,
about
Kristen.
that.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, man.
No, it's okay. But it's okay. Well, okay, I got it back. So what I'm trying to say is that, like, the amount of detail that they put in this game, it's perfect because, like, sometimes they do it in like an open world setting, and there's just no way that you can explore all of the, like, for example, let's say Skyrim. Like, dude, there is just absolutely no way that you can explore all of Skyrim and all of the details, and you know, like, you need to have a life also aside from video games. But the fact that they did it in a game that the world isn't necessarily an open world game,
Yeah.
it's just like different platforms, different like levels of it, and they're just the right size that you can explore literally everything of it and get all the details that you want. That's what made this game so satisfying, that they give you like so like many little details and like just the right amount of space. And again, like the replayability of it is just fantastic.
Yeah.
Like again, I bought the game 3 times. The original, Subsistence, and the HD remake for PlayStation 3. And if they make it again for PS4, I will buy a PS4 and I will buy it again. That is how much this game to me it's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And to your point, Christian, about the camouflage that we didn't mention it. Yes, I completely forgot about that, and I really love that part of the game. And honestly, like I maybe I didn't even mention it because it's so normal to me. Like it didn't really like impacted me in that way. Like I always remembered that, but of course you use it all the time, right? And it's kind of like the lifeblood of the game. Like to be sneaky, you need to know which camouflage to put on and what to use. And I don't know, it just felt so like it didn't feel at all alien to the game. So it felt like obviously you have to do that to be like to be sneaky in the jungle, right? So it's just interesting the fact that something so important can be a little bit overlooked by other things when it's actually something that I'm pretty sure that 3 introduced right into the franchise, like the whole camouflage. Yeah, and
yeah, true.
It was so well done. I feel like it's one of those things that is so well done that you just take it for granted, and it's actually no, it's really really awesome and something that every other Metal Gear basically kind of tries to do, or
they expanded.
They expanded.
Yeah, they expanded on that after that.
Yeah, so definitely. I completely forgot about that thing that should be mentioned, and it makes the game just that much more awesome, honestly. And yeah, I mean, I think that we've basically touched on many things, right, that make this game really fun. I will suggest people to if you're hearing this and you haven't played the game, you've been spoiled for everything that makes the game really. I mean, most of the story points that will probably make you understand what goes on. Maybe, of course, there are many things that we didn't touch upon. Like for example, Volgin, like being the main bad dude.
We actually didn't spoil a lot.
I mean, we spoiled some really like key moments, right? Like
we should really start we should really start putting spoiler warnings at the beginning.
I will put that. But anyway, in any case, like if you heard all this, you should still play the game. And I don't know where you can find it right now. Like, do you guys know where's the last place you can get it in at the moment?
I mean,
I don't really know.
If you still have a PS3, you can probably buy the HD remake on Amazon or a GameStop store, maybe. And if you buy the HD remake, you get Metal Gear Solid 3, Metal Gear Solid 2, Christian, and Peace Walker, which is the PSP game. So you get all those 3 little bundle pack, and that's kind of nice.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if you can get it on the PlayStation Network. Because again, I don't have a PlayStation 4, so I don't know what's in the PSN right now.
I'll check.
You can
Anyway,
always check.
yeah, I'll do some research about that, and I'll just put something in the link or the description, like so you can just go there and find it. But if you played it, you're hearing this and just watching us talk or fanboy for the game. Just play it again. Honestly, I don't think playing this game is a waste of time. So yeah, thank you guys for being with me and talking about Metal Gear Solid 3. Eventually, Christian will give Metal Gear Solid 2 its due. And all the other Metal Gear Solids as well. But thank you guys. Is there something that you would like to plug or something that you would like people to experience? It could be to play too. It could be to basically do anything. It doesn't even have to be related to basically like what we're talking about. But Roberto, is there something that you would like people to look for? Or?
Not necessarily. I mean, if you haven't really played any Metal Gear Solid, I think you should give it a try on the series as a whole. Okay. Just try it, even though it's outdated. There's a lot of outdated gameplay stuff.
Yeah.
It's still very solid.
Of course.
See, I kind of disagree with that because to me, that game has aged so well. So like, still try it, still play it, but to me, like it's still a game that it's pretty fun to play.
I'm not saying about Metal Gear Solid 3. I'm talking more about Metal Gear Solid 1 without the camera angles and stuff.
No, that's okay. Well, that's a PlayStation 1 game, so like, that is definitely outdated, but it's still a great story. And if not, then go on YouTube. There's probably like a cutscene video with like all the cutscenes of the game.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I think there's a couple Let's Play.
Yeah, there are plenty of them, probably. So, Jorge, is there something you want to plug or something you want to say?
Christian, I'm sorry I bashed on Metal Gear Solid 2.
We all kind of did, so yeah.
Yeah. It's not that bad of a game. It's a good game. So give it a try too, guys. Anyone that's listening to this, try and get yourself a copy of Metal Gear Solid 3. It's a great game. Please keep on listening to our podcast because we love talking about them, and I love every time Gabriel has me on this podcast because I get to like talk about stuff that we loved growing up with my best friend. So yeah, thank you again for today.
That's awesome. And Christian?
Yeah, so I want to plug the Why We Love Metal Gear Solid 2 podcast. Next week. It's just gonna be me, and nobody's gonna watch it. Finally.
Hey, I'll be there if you invite me. I can talk good about.
No, you got it wrong, Christian. If we talk about Metal Gear Solid 2, it's gonna be how to fix Metal Gear Solid 2. So no, I'm kidding.
All right. So yeah, I enjoyed talking to you guys. I look forward to doing more podcasts.
Yeah.
And thank you for anybody who listened to it.
Yeah, that's perfect. And as they said, play the games, play Metal Gear Solid. Any single one will do. Honestly, we say 3, but honestly, like each one of them has their own thing going for them, and they're pretty awesome in their own respect. I think the franchise as a whole is one of the best franchises of gaming. Honestly, just for the sake that it's so different from other types of games, and it's basically, I don't know, it's Kojima's baby, of course, and you can see how much love he has for the franchise and all the work he puts in every single entry. So yeah, like honestly, just play any Metal Gear Solid, and I think that if you haven't, you will have a good experience. At least the main titles, like the console ones or something like that. So anyway, thank you guys for talking to me about the game. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next time.